I wanted to give you guys a shop update. So this past week that I've been off of work, I've been trying to utilize it to my advantage and get some more things done out here in the shop, some more shop organization, getting things moved around the way they need to be. And I'm just going to kind of give you a little progress, sort of like a little mini shop update of what's been going on out here in this area of the shop, which is primarily going to be, you know, the more dirty work, pedestal grinders, welding, grinding, and that kind of stuff. So right behind me here is going to be the first update. I installed this pegboard for the new Osborne Abrasive display there. This is something that Osborne Abrasive sent to me. Very generous and kind of them. I want to thank all the guys at Osborne for hooking me up with this stuff. You've got a nice assortment of cutoff disc and different grits, grinding wheels, and as well as flap disc. All these for the 4.5 inch, and then you have some 7-inch grinding wheels, and then also 6-inch cutoff disc there as well. So some of these are going to be for stainless, and then some of them are for steel and stainless, and then some of them are just designated for steel. And then you have some, these are ceramic right here, these flap disc, this EXT 40 grit, those are ceramic flap disc right there. And then they also sent a few wire brushes. I've got some of mine extras put on there. They sent in some hand brushes there. Already got one of those being put to use. And then utilize the rest of the pegboard for my existing flap wheels and grinding discs that I've already had. Things that I've just been holding on to. I've bought a few things at the flea market, you know, and that kind of stuff. So got everything out here now where I can see what I have. And I should have enough abrasive discs to last me for quite a while. Got some 9-inch grinding disc up there, 9-inch sanding disc. This is a adapter kit that one of my viewers made for me to use on the 9-inch, I believe. And some more flap disc there. This is some of that stuff I got from the 3M guy when I was up at Motion. Some more guards, nuts, got it all in the same place. And then these, I found these guys at Lowe's whenever I was buying these peg hooks. They got these little bins, and you see I've got them with my Roloc Scotch-Brite pads. Got a couple different grits there. I put my flap disc in this one right there. This is just extra hooks for now. Some new fittings that I picked up for the air tools, and then wire brushes. A couple of these are also the Osborne. These are from Osborne right here. All right, and then I finally got this hung. This comes from Goalie Performance. I ran into him at the Moultrie, Georgia swap meet. I was trying to remember the name of it, but up in Moultrie, he's there every year, and he's got a nice trailer set up with all kind of tools for the workshop. And this is one of the tools that he sells, is this little hanger bracket for air tools. And I've got all my air tools hung up now, instead of some of them being set in a drawer. And that's why I had bought some more of these fittings right here. I got these from Harbor Freight. They're like $1.20, I think. I need to swap out some of these. That was my old style, the push lock. So anyway, that's looking real good. And the abrasives, I'm really happy with how that's turning out. Got everything just right here where I can grab it, and these are not too high. See, I can just reach right up here and grab what I want. All right, so moving down the line, I built a little shelf out of some materials that I just had around the shop. This was a cutoff from one of my 2x12s. I had these shelf hangers hanging in my shed for years and years. So finally put it to use. I've got the Lyle drill grinder sitting on top of it, ready to go. This is the accessories for it right here, and the tools that I need. Got it hanging right there on the pegboard. And it's the height that I like to use it at, because I'm always, usually this thing is lower and I have to like bend over more to use it. But now I've got it right where I want it. And then once I do use it, what I'll do is I'll just kind of spin it around here like I want. And then the attachment's going to be right here that you run up and down, and I can easily see right here where the grind is going to be on the drill bit. So real happy about that. Getting that thing set up, and got one of my old charts hanging on the wall. We've got more space here. I plan on building another pedestal for my other grinder that I've got here. This is my Miller's Falls that I usually see me using whenever I'm polishing something, but I want to build a pedestal for that and get it off the rotary table and get it over here. So it'll probably be over here somewhere, and these can be kind of moved around as needed. All right, and another big update that's going to be coming is I bought another big pedestal grinder from Andrew Alexander on Instagram. He's Blacksmith Tools over on Instagram, and he had a really nice pedestal grinder that I just kind of fell in love with once I seen it, and I made a good deal with him, and it's on its way as I'm recording this. Probably going to put it right here. It's going to fill up this spot, and I've got 3-phase on the other side of the wall. I'm going to come through and wire it up, and it's going to go right here. And I'm very excited about getting that and hooking it up and seeing how it runs. He's seen it run whenever he had bought it, and he says it runs good. The wheels run nice and true, and it's a good heavy duty grinder. So this is all the the grinding area right here. Looking a little further back, I had those toolboxes sitting right here. I finally got those off. My coworker Ken at work, he gave me this Kennedy. He was downsizing and moving, and he didn't need this anymore and said that I could have it. So I cleaned it up, and I got all my hand tools out of the Lista cabinet in there, and I started putting them all in there. So I finally have a toolbox dedicated to hand tools, and this is some of this stuff come from my shop, and some of it is stuff that I've collected for years and years. And it's nice being able to have all the tools in one place. I bought these Campbell Hausfeld impact sockets when I was probably 15 or 16 from Walmart, and they've been just as good as any of them. So, some old hand tool, power air tools. I mean, some more tools there, and then some more stuff piled up in there. And then I got some. There's a drawer. It's just for adjustable wrenches, and you get the drift right there. All right, so that's going to help me out keeping all of the hand tools in one spot. I'd like to eventually get another top box that would fit on here. That would give me some more drawers. It doesn't have to be Kennedy. It can be anything as long as it fits on the top of this Kennedy box right there, and get away with this red box here. I had to move this thing down further so that I have more room along the wall, and I've got my saw kicked at a little bit of an angle so I can fit something in there to cut it. I usually don't have to do a bunch of long cuts, usually shorter on the other side, so that's going to work there for now. There's the Jefferson Power Hacksaw everybody always likes to see. I put it on this rolling cart here so I can move it around when I want to. It was sitting on this toolbox, and this looks pretty rough because before this was enclosed out here, I had it sitting out here, and the weather kind of got to it. It's still got all my keyway brooches in it, and in this bottom drawer has all of our old helicoil sets and thread repair sets in there. And I don't know if I can. The drawers are pretty tight, but you can see I got all my keyway brooches and plugs. This drawer is full of them also. This is some more organizing that I got to do because I don't want to use this box anymore. I'm gonna get rid of that. Got some more overflow stacked up back there against the wall, and then that's just more of my material and extra goodies stacked up right there. All right, so I want to show you guys a couple scores that I got over the weekend. I found me another really nice Union twist drill decimal equivalent chart. I picked this up here locally, and I really love how it's got the Industrial Marine Supply name on it. This one's in really good shape, and so it appeared to me that somebody must have had this hanging up like in an office or inside, not in a shop environment. But I picked that up, and also this Starrett dial indicator set. This is the Starrett number 196. I'm sorry. It's the 196 indicator set. It had this in there. Cromwell Cycle Shop. Who out there watching knows what this cycle shop is? It's in Richmond, Indiana. Phone number is 70155. You know, that is some old stuff right there. So complete set. Got the lid there, it slides onto it. 25 bucks, 25 bucks. Can't beat it. Also got this Starrett level right here. I believe this is a 135. I got this from a separate place. This is where I got this clock. I found this really cool Cincinnati clock and the level at a separate place, and we negotiated $40 for both of those right there. This clock still works. It appears that it must have went into another part, or there was some kind of housing that went around it, and I need to build another piece to go around it, because when I try to hang it on the wall, it just kind of kicks at an angle because all the mechanics are sticking out too far. So I'll probably see about getting Joe down at the welding shop to roll me a piece of steel so that this will mount flush against the wall. And I want to get this hung out here. I just think it's so cool. You know, Cincinnati, it's got a lot of weight to it. It's very heavy, made in USA, and it still works good. So I thought it went really well with the theme of the shop, you know, being a Cincinnati. So I'd like to get it hung up there on the wall. Just need to get the back modified. So that was a really neat score too. I just thought that was very cool. So that's what I thought was going to be a nice little quick update for you, but I always get excited to share any kind of news of the shop here with you guys. I've been working real hard to try to get everything in the shop in a much more usable workflow to where I can go to any machine and use it without having to move stuff out of the way or wire it up, you know, things like that. I still got other machines that I need to wire up. The Kearney and Trecker mill right there on the other side of the wall, I still have not wired up yet. I just haven't got to it. Also need to wire up this old Kentmore electric press, and these are all things on the list to do. I've got that new pedestal grinder that's going here, so I hope to try to get all this wiring done sort of around the same time period once I get started on it, and try to get everything in a nice working fashion around here. All right, so that's enough with the updates. Let's go ahead and get to the rest of the footage, okay? I got Andrew Alexander in the shop with me hanging out, and
Howdy.
For any of you guys who don't know who Andrew Alexander is, he's on Instagram under Blacksmith Tools, and I was lucky enough to be in the area that he's down here. He's vacationing over by Destin, right?
Yeah.
He's got his family out on the beach, but he wanted to come by and see the shop and hang out. We've been having a good time talking, learning a lot about old iron. But one of the things I asked Andrew to do, since he's an expert on anvils, is to explain to us a little bit about my anvil right here.
This was your dad's anvil, wasn't it?
This was my granddad's and my dad's anvil.
Right.
It came from our shop, and all I know is that it's a Peter Wright anvil.
Okay.
That's all I know.
I'll tell you some cool stuff about Peter Wright himself. Was born in 1803 in Dudley, England, right? And some identifiable characteristics of a Peter Wright anvil are this stepped edge right here on the front and rear.
Okay.
Right? That's like a great signature. Peter Wright is not the only anvil manufacturer that did it, but he's one of the more prolific ones that did it. And so you can really tell by that. What else is really cool about Peter Wright anvils is their solid wrought iron, right? A lot of anvils were built up from several different pieces of scrap steel and tool steel and all that kind of stuff. But Peter Wright shaped his anvils under a powder hammer, solid wrought iron. And sometimes one of the unfortunate things is the wrought iron's a little softer, so you'll see some Peter Wright anvils, you know, they'll be kind of swayed out or dished out a little bit.
Okay.
And later on he compensated by crowning the tops of the horn and kind of raising this up a little bit. But another really cool thing is to figure out how much an anvil weighs. There's 3 marks here. It's a 1, a 2, and a 22. And the best way for me to explain it is we can do it on this table right here probably.
All right.
So you have 1, 2, and 22, right? So let's just break it down into 3 columns. Column 1 on anvils is in regards to 100 weights. Your anvil is 100 weight. What is 100 weight? Is always 112 pounds, okay? So the 1, if it was a 2, it would be, 224. So a 1 is 112. The 2, the second column, is in regards to quarter weight. So if you take a pie graph, if you will, if one quarter weight is 28 pounds, this can get a little confusing. 2 would be 56, 3 would be 84, and 4 would be 112, right? So your anvil is 2 quarter weight pounds, which is 56. So right now you're 112, 56. The third column, and by the way, the second column can never exceed the number 3.
Okay.
A lot of times the number in the second column will look like a 5, but it's either going to be a 3 or a 2. It's
Okay.
never, because you can't ever exceed, 1 full, which would be 112, right? The third column is in pounds, and it won't exceed 27, right? 27 would be the biggest number. Yours is 22, so you're 112 plus 56 plus 22, and that would be the total weight of your anvil, right? And this is very confusing. It's hard to figure out. A lot of people are baffled by this, but if you just break it down into these categories, this is what it is. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you got that. Carry the 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're 190 pounds.
190 pounds.
Yeah.
That's what the anvil weighs.
It's a great anvil. It's in perfect condition. The other thing that Peter Wrights are really well known for is rebound, having good rebound.
I've seen you do that with the ball drop.
Yeah, with ball bearing. And essentially what you're doing there is you don't want the anvil to absorb the kinetic energy of the blow of the hammer. What it's doing is it's accepting the energy from the hammer blow and putting it back into the piece that you're working on, right? And allowing you to move that hot metal easier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. Now we know what that anvil weighs.
Yeah.
And so why is this shaped here on this front edge?
This is the cutting table, and typically this is a non-hardened surface right here, right? And so you would just use that to do some of your cutting, different cutting techniques, and then this would just be more for rounding and shaping and things of that nature.
Okay.
This is the Pritchell hole, and it's just got a little something in it, but you could probably knock it out real easy.
Yeah.
And this would be,
And that's always been in there. I've never
Has
even
it?
bothered getting it out.
I think it would probably come out.
Okay.
This is the Hardy hole. So the Hardy hole is for tooling. You can put bending dies in there, bending jigs, whatever, cutting, hot cut Hardys,
Yeah.
fullering tools, things of that nature. And then the Pritchell hole is for you to have a piece to hold down material that you'd be working on,
Okay.
right? So great anvil. Great that you still have it.
I know that my granddad acquired this anvil. He bought it from the Navy surplus, where he got a lot of the tooling from the shop. It was
Right.
a Navy surplus. And this is just a stand that they built up with some scrap materials that they had around the shop, and all he did was they just set it down on this plate. It'll actually kind of move around.
Right.
They welded a couple plates to it, heated them up, and bent it over just to keep it in place.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Something else.
The concrete isn't very flat there. That's why it kind of rocks around.
Right. Something else really unique about anvils in general that are forged anvils, and this is a forged anvil, is the handling holes.
Okay.
So when they were forging the base of this anvil, which would be from here down, there would be a tool that would be on a long bar that they would go into here, and then one in the rear also.
Oh, there is one back there?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that would be how they would move it in and out of the forge, when they were heating it up. Same
Okay.
thing with this one on the bottom, and there would be one underneath as well.
Okay.
That's how they would, manipulate it as far as moving it in and around the forge when they were
Cool.
shaping it.
Well, so you would regard a Peter Wright as a highly desired anvil?
Oh yeah, very desirable. Very
Okay.
desirable. Very good quality and very popular amongst the guys that are using them.
And if I have no intentions to sell this, but I'm just kind of wondering what kind of monetary value would this bring to somebody that has this that was going to sell it?
I think that the way I would answer that right now is just more under kind of like the intergalactic umbrella of the market itself, and the market is yielding somewhere between $5 and $8 a pound on the anvils, just depending on
Okay.
condition and rebound and maker and
Yeah.
size and all that stuff.
Okay, cool.
Lots of variables with anvils these days.
Yeah.
Lots of variables.
Now this is imported from England, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I remember reading about that, and it's been a while since I've done any looking up on it. Well, that's really cool, man.
Great animal, great, again, great condition. It's one you should hold on to forever.
I will. And you know, I'm not a blacksmith. I don't do blacksmithing. I don't make knives stuff, but in a machine shop, an anvil is very handy sometimes.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
When you're trying to shape something and you're doing some heating and beating, it's hard to beat a good anvil, man.
Right. There also, if you ever took this paint off here, Adam, there would be a serial number right here.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then there'll be another set of numbers here, and there's another number here. Right. So your serial number for the anvil would be here, and a lot of times the inspector mark would be like right here.
Okay.
And then also it's just, it's always different on what that goes on this side, but
Yeah.
there would be like 2 or 3 numbers here, and usually just a symbol here.
Well, I would like to actually get the old paint off. You know, Dad had me paint a bunch of stuff green years ago whenever
He did.
there wasn't a lot of work going on at one particular time, and he went and bought some paint, said, here, start painting. So,
Yeah.
you know, he wanted this painted, and so I painted it. But I would actually like to wire brush it and clean it
Yeah.
up to bare metal.
I think it would look cool, and it would reveal, like right here, like right in here, there probably is a circle where it would say, well, I can see it right there, where it would say solid rot,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, I wire brushed that because I was trying to find the name on it, and I finally seen that.
Right.
You got any idea on when that may have been made?
Well, okay, so there's ways to identify them by the shape itself in regards to the age, but really the best way to age it would be by revealing the serial number
Okay.
on it. But this is not one of his earliest anvils. Some of the earliest anvils that Peter Wright did not have the
Okay.
chamfered edge or the stepped edge on the foot.
Yeah,
Right?
this right here.
Yeah. But I would say that anvil's probably, you know, late 1800s, early 1900s, maybe up to 1910, somewhere in there.
Really, that's amazing. I didn't know it would be that old. Honestly.
That's a pretty awesome anvil. Any anvils you see that don't have a Pritchell hole like that, just have the Hardy hole, would be pre-1850.
Okay.
But this would be post. You know,
So you said this was a clamp, some kind of clamp that goes in there to hold
like
your.
a hold down there.
Okay.
Like you would
I've
see on
never
an
seen
acorn
that.
table, you know those hold downs?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same concept.
Okay.
In the woodworkers, on their tables, they have the same thing. Those they're like little arms that come up, you know, and
Yeah,
bend over.
that's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you giving us the information on
Yeah,
it,
man. Happy to. Happy to.
I really
Thank
appreciate you coming by and
Thanks for
seeing
having
me.
bud.
And we've been having a good time just talking about shop, you know, machines. I really look forward to one day getting over there to Dallas to see his place. He's got a big shop full of anvils, vices, and old machinery. A lot of neat stuff.
Yeah, come anytime.
So I'm excited about getting over there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and thanks Andrew for hooking us up with some information on Peter Wright.
You bet.
I've been having a tough time selecting what kind of welding process I wanted to use to weld these things in, and I'm just going to do 4 stitch welds to hold that in. That's more than adequate. All the weight is going to be bearing down on that all the time. Of course, the TIG is going to be a much cleaner method. The MIG is, well, it's MIG, and stick is what I'm used to, but it's dirty, and it's not too much fun having to do a bunch of short welds with stick. But what I would like to do is try out the stick welding on the new Everlast. It's the Power TIG 200 DV. I haven't used stick on that yet, so I think what I'm going to do is take at least one of these and stick weld it and see how the machine does. And other than that, I'm probably just going to use the TIG welder and TIG weld it in. So let's go ahead and get the first one done. We're going to use the TIG for this one right here. You can see the fitment of the part right there. We got it nice and cleaned off. There's no oil on it. And we'll just get it tacked off. I'll tack one side and tap it down, tack it, and then we'll get our welds in there. All Alright, it's tacking in real good. I'm using the 2T selection, just using the finger control on the torch. We've got it set to 180 amps, and seems pretty good. We'll move it if we need to. See my little blast attack right there, and then our first TIG weld there. Using some 3/32 filler rod. I think that's going to work pretty good. On this leg here, I experimented a little bit, and what I did was I grabbed one of my 1/8 filler rods and I filled in the corners there, you know, tying in all the beads on all four sides. And what I believe is going on at the end of the weld is where it's coming up the most, where I end the arc. Filling in that gap there, that split line between the round and the square tubing, you know, they go in different directions. I believe the weld puddle is cooling and shrinking, and it's pulling away in the very middle, causing the little tiny fracture at the very end of the weld. So I filled this in to see, you know, how it reacted, and of course it did fine. So that's what my theory is on it, is that it's shrinking at the end there, and the weld is pulling away, you know, from the center to each side. I'm on the last leg right here that's got a weld, and then this is where I'm going to try out the stick function on the Everlast. I'm going to be running a 1/8 diameter 7018. I've got the machine set at 125 amps. It's a good starting point. It'll probably be fine right there. And let's see how it does. I do have my fume extractor going on up here. That's what all the extra noise is. say it's welding in good. I'm actually going to crank it up about 5 amps. Then go about 130. What I'm doing is I'm tapping the flux off the end of the rod to make it easier to start, rather than banging it on there trying to knock the flux off. I'm going to try out this new Osborne wire brush. This is a stringer bead brush that was given to me by Osborne. They sent a few of these wire wheels and a couple of grinding braces. So I'm going to try it out on this weld. That's nice and balanced. It's not vibrating any. So I like that stringer bead brush pretty good. And that one does say made in USA. Most of their other stuff is, I believe, well, a lot of it is made in Germany. Well, that was my first stick welds with the Everlast, and I don't have anything to complain about so far. It did fine. Just starting it, you know, I had a little problem right there starting it. I arced on the chrome plating. That's what that spot is right there. But all the weld beads look good. It seemed to flow in just fine. You know, and that's using my very old 7018 rods. These things have been around here for a long time, and they still weld good. But I think it did just fine, and no issues with it. Now I don't know what the longevity of it would be. You know, with the duty cycle, if you're burning rods all day long, that may not be the machine. You know, that you may have to let it cool down or something. But you know, if you're burning a few rods occasionally, I'm sure it's going to be an excellent machine for that.